Hey, out here for another river walk today, and in spite of the coronavirus, everything out here seems fine. A lot of bird activity today. I've seen some woodpeckers. You can hear them tweeting everywhere. And what's been on my mind lately? You may know that it's come out recently that developers of phones basically engineered this whole system to hack into people's minds. And that's what's happened. So, in a sense, you're not a discrete being anymore. You're a human being with a brain and a mind, but then you've got an ancillary brain plugged in, right? So, in a sense, it's being a cyborg. So they hacked into the brain by using a reward system where you got little rewards for posting, say, on social media, mainly that, or playing, highly addictive games, repetitive over and over again. And it's crazy. Some of these games I've seen, they actually promote them as being addictive and can't stop playing, And anyway, if you're from an older generation like I am, and it's like I've been online since about 1998, perhaps. And, I've seen it all pretty much. And, of course, I've used it as a business platform. So I did have a practical reason to be here doing this. But, so if I decide that I want to take a break from it, which I do quite often, then I can go back, in a sense, to where I was before 1998 or around there. And I have something to go back to. So I can go back to long, quiet days, reading, doing other activities, not doing this constant addictive screen time shit. So, ducks. And they were in a tree. But, so anyway, I have something to go back to. And, but it occurred to me that kids, young people who have never known anything but this, what would happen to them if this ancillary mind was unplugged? What would they go back to? How would they cope? Would they feel as if they had lost a limb? It would be strange. The way this operates, as I said, it's kind of like being plugged into you. You could think about an analogy in the back of your head. It's like when you get plugged in and you make that connection, you can disconnect it, but you will always have the plug in the back of your head forever. They did that, and you have it now, which is, to me, a little disturbing. So, what we're seeing in society, how we're being affected by this phenomenon, is that people, some people admittedly don't do it. They don't do social media, but it's getting to be tremendously huge. And it's affected civil discourse. Not that there is that much civil discourse anymore. But say, for example, you got a phone problem. You're a phone junkie. You're in the phone zone. You're a clone in the phone zone. Haha. You are looking for things to post or things to comment on. And, they know that if you make your comment or you make your statement, basically a statement, it could be out of you originally, or it could be in reference to something else. But as soon as you make that statement and you get a response, you get a little pleasure chemical hit in the brain. And even if you don't get that, you might get an anger hit in the brain. Well, that's going to, basically provoke you to do more postings until you get it, But what happens with the system of constant postings, trying to get your pleasure chemicals up, is that actually you wind up going down. And then you're coasting down at the bottom, hoping to get some little kind of, blip to get you back up again. And everyone else is doing the same thing as well. And of course, it doesn't happen. So you wind up in this state of basically zombified, addictive depression, hovering right down there above ground zero. And it's happening everywhere. So the statement, there's basically two kinds of statements. Oh, people coming, hold on. So there we go, nice couple. I said you caught me talking to myself, doing a little talk for the channel. And so anyway, civil discourse, making statements. So statements can be of two kinds. It's all talking, but the statement can be to make a personal statement, or it can be to learn something. So not many of these statements that I see are designed to learn anything. You can make your own decisions about that by seeing what's out there. But the thing about the statement now, tied in with this phone addiction problem, is that it doesn't really matter what the statement is, as long as it gets a reaction. So now we're in this situation where there's so much polarity going on with these differing points of view, mainly political, there's partisanship, which just seems beyond any kind of rational resolution. I've used flat earthers, of course, flat earth followers, cult people, as an example of this before. And basically, as soon as they make their statement, they get the reaction, and they get high. And that's all they want. It has nothing to do with whether the Earth's flat or not. They just basically, it's an outrageous thing to say to draw attention to themselves. So this is where we wind up with all kinds of civil discourse, and it creates a disconnect from reality. So, to get into politics, for example, Trump, regardless of where you stand on that, basically he lies all the time. And, that's provable. It's like he says things that aren't true all the time. And then people that, back him, they say what they say, but then they don't look at that or whatever. So, in a sense, what this telephone shit's done, it's forced, in a sense. Well, you went along with it, but you weren't expecting this. You weren't expecting to be hacked. So what happens is everyone's getting driven down their own little personal rabbit hole, isolated, and it's messed up. Very, very messed up. I see a lot of it because I'm online, I'm on Facebook, I'm promoting, trying to earn a living, and it's bad. Very, very bad. Now, every generation must have its own particular kind of struggle, and I guess we've got this one. What's the solution? Oh, well, hell, let's start an online movement to get offline, right? Yeah. So you can spend time going to the website or whatever, figuring out how to get off the website. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what I'd like to see, it occurred to me now, is a class action lawsuit against these companies for what they knowingly did. Just like tobacco advertising that, cigarettes are good and 4 out of 5 doctors smoke Camels and shit like that. Got the same kind of thing going here. So they knew what they were doing. And it's in a form of mental enslavement. So anyway, wherever you are, if you have something to go back to, like I have this to go back to. I have books, I can do artwork, things like that. I can stay away, I can disconnect. I mean, I still have that plug in the back of my head too. It's been there for over 30 years. But everybody's got to figure this out for themselves. And what else is going on? Well, interestingly, the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of businesses are closed. I went to a business just a little while ago to pick something up, and they're saying, well, we'll deliver now. We're going to be delivering. It's like, for climate change, these kind of changes could have been made a long time ago. Where it's like people don't have to go drive all the time. You can order online, the stuff gets delivered to you, or you pick it, something like that. So I think what's happening is that this situation is showing people that change is not all that hard. So we couldn't change anything in terms of driving less, and I've talked about this before. But now with this going on, it's like, hey, wait a sec. We can change things. It's actually pretty easy, could be better. So anyway, I guess that's it for today. Wanted to get out of my system, share it with you guys. So hang in there. Let me hear your thoughts, and see you next time.